Hey there. Welcome to the Health Data Ethics Podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Owens. I'm here today with a really quick episode because I just wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about how I approach the use of artificial intelligence in my own work and in generating content for presentations, podcasts, any sort of written documentation. So let's get started. I have been using artificial intelligence tools such as ChatGPT and AI generated images for the past probably about 6 months. I actually really like to illustrate the talks that I give with AI generated images because I think that those can provide a really useful jumping off point for some discussions, right? What does this image get correct? What does it not get correct? And it often brings a bit of humor to a discussion that can sometimes be a little bit dry. I have used ChatGPT to generate a lot of text for some of these presentations as well. I like to use it to give me an example when I'm thinking about providing, for example, like a case study. So I did a talk recently where I was leading folks through kind of a choose your own adventure type exercise or a tabletop exercise where they were taking in an interesting artificial intelligence idea. And I used ChatGPT actually to generate quite a few of the theoretical responses from various members of the teams that they were going around and talking to. I wanted to be really clear, and I thought that it would be helpful to state this up front. So I will always put a disclaimer out when I'm using AI generated text or images. I will always let you know when ChatGPT has had a hand in writing my content. I will always let you know if the images I'm using were generated by Dolly or by another AI image generator. I try to pull images from Creative Commons licenses, so I like to give credit to artists where I can. If things are licensed for open and free use, then I prefer to use those. I do this not because I think I do this not because I think that it's important to like caveat this or like, ooh, this might not quite be the quality. I do this because I think it's really helpful to see where a person who is producing content is using artificial intelligence. I think it's really helpful to say, hey, you can use these tools in a way that leaves your voice and your tone really consistent, and yet you're still able to continue to produce content with perhaps maybe less work than you normally would. It does not do me any good to sit down and try to write. My last prompt to ChatGPT actually was, please write me a pitch for an AI tool in the tone of somebody who does not understand artificial intelligence at all, because that was what I was after. I needed a pretty useless starting point for a particular activity. But what I think is really helpful is to kind of call out like, okay, so this is where I'm using this technology. This is how I'm using this technology. And then conversely, right, if you don't see these kind of disclaimers, you can guarantee that the words that you're getting are me. I do not yet use ChatGPT to write transcripts or to do research for my podcast. I find that the benefit really to the podcast is the final product is great, and I love that people are listening. The framework of doing the research, coming up with some thoughts that are worth sharing, and then actually sitting down and formalizing those and sharing them is so valuable to me that I wouldn't want to outsource that to technology at this point in time. So this is just my AI policy when when I'm using these kind of tools, when I'm using an LLM, when I'm using an image generator or any other kind of AI, I will let you know. If you don't see the disclaimer, sorry, you only have me to blame.